Welcome to Pathetic, the podcast. We're coming at you with another, I hope, fun episode. I want to welcome in my two buddies here. We have finally, I think, we're getting back on a regular schedule where the three of us are together and not all. What do they say in Goodfellas? They don't want us stumbling around like a bunch of hobos,
Staggering out one at a time.
staggering out one at a time. Mikey, we're not mad at you anymore, so I'm going to go to you first, like I normally do. Mikey, how are you, bud?
I'm great. I'm hoping at some point that the sun will come out here in New Jersey. We've been dealing with this rain for like the last month and a half, and I'm tired of living in a boat. So I'm hoping the next couple of weeks here we get sunny and we're good to go. So, Jeff, how we doing?
Not to rub it in, but the Carolina weather has been a peach over the past. We had one day of heavy rain that I guess hit you guys a day or two later. But on a lighter note, the Yankees scored a run, if you guys can believe it.
Yeah.
Shockingly scored a run. So, but yeah, everything is good and always glad to be with you guys.
It's a little strange tonight. Are you hearing a little bit of a noise echoing here?
Yeah, I just shut the muted mic.
Oh, okay.
Mic, so.
Yeah, getting a little bit of a noise echo because Mike and I are actually in the same spot. Hi guys.
Hey.
That's a little creepy looking.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know he was leaning in, so I was like, eh. But yeah, Mike and I are playing golf tomorrow with Jetman, Ted Smallwood. And so instead of Mike driving an hour northwest from work, he just came right down to me because, as he said before, if he didn't, as soon as he got home, he would probably have to just change and turn around and come back.
Yeah, we have 7 a.m. tea time tomorrow. So
yeah,
nice.
Now, Mike, will it help if? Oh no, you're fine. Jeff, you just heard Mike talk, right?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, good. All right, so we're good to go. Perfect. Yeah, so I want to remind everyone when you watch this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to it on Spotify, Apple, whatever platform that you listen to your podcast on, same thing. Like, subscribe. If it lets you give us a rating, please give us a rating. Be kind. It helps the algorithms. So every time somebody watches it or listens to it, it kind of bumps us up the chain a little bit. And that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to get bumped up the chain, so to speak. Also, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see Pathetic link tree. So if you go to that link tree, that'll give you information to send us an email, see us on Instagram, see us on Facebook, see us on Twitter. Guys, you think we should do TikTok? I think we should, right?
yeah, why not?
Man, yeah, I guess we have to do it, right? That's what everyone's doing now. Even though I'm
do a dance,
wildly against TikTok,
so.
but
I agree.
I guess we probably got to do it, unfortunately.
Mike, if we do TikTok, are we gonna find like on the Pathetic TikTok site that you're gonna be doing like these crazy dances and stuff like Frankie McDonald?
Yeah, I'm gonna be showing up, eating hot dogs and running around. I'll send the video of me running in on the Seinfeld set doing the Kramer walk-in.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
From my trip to LA, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. You should send that to me and we'll share that with the people.
Yes,
for the next episode. Yeah, Mike just got back from California. So besides work, I don't know if he did any work. I think he just squeezed in a whole bunch of studio tours and visiting different iconic food places. Did you go to In-N-Out?
Of course we did.
Of course he did.
In-N-Out, Pink's Hot Dog, Voodoo Donuts, you name it, we ate it. We ate at Cantor's Deli, which is a great Jewish deli out there in LA. The corned beef was
to die for.
Yeah, it was really good. And you know what's a legit deli? Because when you walk in, they gave you a plate of pickles as soon as you sat down.
That's
so
legit.
That'll do legit
it.
Place.
That is
now, let
true.
me ask you this. Would you prefer the Shake Shack burger, or if you've had Shake Shack, or the In-N-Out burger?
I'm going to say In-N-Out.
Ooh,
maybe
really?
Because I don't have it as often as I have Shake Shack. But if you get it animal style, which I would thoroughly recommend, it's got the sauce, the pickles, kind of like a Big Mac almost style of it. I get a 3x3, so it's 3 patties. It's just unbelievable. It's so good.
My
So
perfect burger fry combination would be the Shake Shack burger. I got to put that number one with the Five Guy fries. I don't know if you ever had
Ooh, we
those
have.
Five Guy.
Oh, yes,
Ooh.
we have.
Oh
yeah,
man, and they give you more. They give you a little extra. You
yeah,
see
they
the
give you
grease
bag
going through
fries.
the
It's the
bag.
best.
Oh, that's the best.
And you know what's funny? You mentioning the thing about the burgers. Mike and I tried to order Burger 25 tonight, which normally when Mike comes, we order Burger 25. They have great burgers. And Mike, you know what I was going to order? The chopped cheese sandwich.
Oh,
And they have the bodega sauce and everything. And I went online to do it, and it said they're not accepting orders. And then I tried to call them, and they didn't answer. So I don't know if something happened because they have great burgers.
yeah.
But that's interesting, Jeff. So I've had the Shake Shack burger, and I think it's okay. I think Burger 25 to me is the best burger I've ever had so
I
far.
never
But
had Burger 25. I never had that before.
I actually found a cheesesteak place almost in Seaside Heights, almost before you go over the bridge. It's called G's. And I had this onion marmalade
Oh,
cheesesteak, and it had like an onion jam. And so my wife says to me, it was like last Friday night, she goes, do you want to go up and sit on the beach and just enjoy, the sunset? Now, my answer was no. But then I realized that I do so many stupid things that, just tick her off. So I said, yeah, let's do it. But I want to get a cheesesteak at G's. We ate the cheesesteak. She says at one point, she's looking at the ocean, and it was really nice. And she goes, isn't this beautiful? I said, this is the best cheesesteak I've ever had.
But I think we can all agree the fries, Five Guys is the undisputed champion. Yeah, it has to be, right? Like, I
Cajun
can't
ones.
think.
I love the Cajun ones with
Oh,
the
man.
spice on them.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And it keeps me from doing my fat guy move. Anytime I go to a fast food place and drive through, I always get an additional small fry. So I eat that on the way home, so I
Right.
don't actually go into my regular fries while I'm going.
That
So
sounds like Kevin
that's a
James
true
in
Yeah,
King of
fat guy
Queens.
thing to do.
Well, they give you so many fries, you don't need to do that.
Right, you don't
So
need
Yeah,
that at
exactly.
Five Guys.
it's crazy.
Exactly.
It really is crazy.
You got to get the regular. The large is almost too much,
Yeah,
honestly. It's
yeah,
like you have
exactly.
leftovers.
You got to split it with two people.
Yep.
Yeah, but when you get a regular, don't you feel like inadequate? Like, yeah, I'll take the regular one.
Yeah.
I don't want. Just give me the large one. What's
gotta
an
do
extra
it.
dollar?
Yeah.
It's like my friend Mark DeMeo used to say when we talk about dollars and stuff, and he goes, you're white trash if you actually try to return something to Dollar Tree. It's $1. Let it go, he says. Oh, he was so funny. We worked with Mark, and Mike's seen Mark a few times, and
Yep.
it's just funny stuff. But so tonight, I mean, I want to start it off. I want to go to you two guys, and I want to ask you, what in the hell is going on with the Yankees?
Oof.
I praise them up and down. There's no way anybody's getting close. And then right after I say that, boom. What's going on? Mike, what's going on?
It's the middle of the season. The weather's not been great. They got off to an unbelievable start where you had guys who are really hitting above their baseball cards. You have guys like Trent Grisham who were doing things that if they were going to do that all season, you were just going to put their name on the trophy right now. So the fact that they're cooling off and coming back to earth a little bit is kind of expected with that. But what I'm encouraged about is even when this is going on, the pitching has still been there. They're not getting blown out 8-0. It's 2-0 or 4-0.
Yeah.
The pitching is still where it needs to be, and that's going to be the thing that's going to make the difference in the playoffs, is to be able to pitch the way you want to and to pitch the way you need to when you're playing all these really good teams. And the offense will come through. You're going to have guys, Stanton's coming back, Judge is going to be himself. You have a couple of guys make some plays, and Volpe is having a pretty solid season. So get a couple of contributions from those guys and let Stanton and Judge do their thing in the playoffs. But it's a long season. You're going to go through ups and downs, and we'll see where we are. We're still comfortably in first place, so I'm not too concerned. Jeff, what are we thinking?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's baseball, Susan, right? It's
Right.
just it is what it is. This happens every year. Maybe not this bad. I mean, the Yankees have been abysmal, really, since their last win, which, by the way, in that win, they only scored 1 run. They got pretty damn
Yeah.
lucky.
Yep.
But I guess this will be our little therapy session before we just move on, right? And realize it's baseball. I think both teams will be fine, the Mets and the Yankees. But just, I guess we have to talk about the slump, right? Because this has been the worst slump I've ever seen the Yankees have for as long as I've been watching them. I think if I saw correctly today, they tied a franchise record for most shutouts in a row against them, which is not
Yeah.
a good stat to have.
No.
They're 3-7 in their last 10. No runs in I think it was 31 or 32 innings. Up until tonight, they finally did score. Not scoring a run in 3 games. It's just very weird to see considering how this team started. It's one thing to go through a slump and, just lose games. But the Yankees are losing games they should be winning because, like you said, Mike, the pitching really has been very good. Schmidt seems to be coming back and doing very well. Fried doing what he's doing. But that said, let's all just relax, take a deep breath. The Yankees are going to be fine. They are. And that's why it was so good to get off to the start they did this season, because now they have a cushion to have, a 2-week or 3-week period where they're just not really doing anything. But what the Yankees have to do, and this is going to have to go through all the way to October, God willing, they have to find a guy or guys that can pick up the slack when Judge is slumping. You're not going to see a lot of Judge, 2 or 3 week periods where he's not hitting, but it's happening now. And one thing about Judge, and you guys know every Yankee fan loves the guy, his slumps are brutal. He's either a monster, he's either Babe Ruth or he's like the worst player you've ever seen.
Or he's
right
Betty
now.
Boop.
Yeah. And 99% of the time, he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
But his slumps are okay, he's not hitting the ball. He's not even hitting foul balls. So I want to see somebody, while Judge is slumping, step up and do something. Preferably, I want to see Volpe. I really do. I want to see this guy finally etch his name in what we think he is, right? What he was as a prospect. Because he's been a disappointment collectively. He's been pretty good. And some people think he hasn't been good at all. He's not what we were hoping, at least. I want to see him step up and have a month of, let's say, end of June going into July, where forget home runs, just get on base, doubles, right? Just RBIs, rack them up. But the biggest problem with the Yankees is, again, what I said. They don't have somebody who can step up when Judge is slumping. So, but like I said, take a deep breath, Yankee fans. We'll be fine. This team is still winning this division. We're good. So just everybody calm down.
I think that, when Judge goes into his slumps, I don't even know how that happens. Because all of a sudden he'll bust out tomorrow and hit 3 home runs and drive in 7 RBIs, But I don't even know how that happens. But you're right. Just everybody take a deep breath. I mean, the Yanks are going to be fine. Judge is going to be fine. We're not. Yeah. You can't ever worry about him. I definitely wouldn't worry about it at all. And I mean, and I know that fans are frustrated. They were so frustrated they booed him last night.
And they fire Boone, all this stuff is happening.
Which is just like you said, everybody take a deep breath. It's fine. And then meanwhile, in Queens, we coming off a tremendous stretch, and then all of a sudden the Tampa Bay Rays sweep us. And a lot of that was, I honestly believe, I really do, I think that they just got a little complacent because they drove in runs, they had leads, they blew leads, and I think that they just, and especially now they're in Atlanta, and I think though now in their heads they're a little bit like, what's going on? What's happening? But the one thing tonight before the game, Steve Gelbs, who was in the locker room last night, they were trying to say, well, why did Reed Garrett throw a second consecutive splitter? And Reed Garrett was going to throw a fastball, and Alvarez called for the splitter, thinking they can cross him up. And Alvarez says, I'm taking 100% of the blame. I blew it. I just blew it. I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have been overthinking it. But then Reed Garrett walks over. He puts his arm around him and he says, if I felt that strongly about the fastball, I would have shook you off. He says, it's everybody. It's not you. So I think the clubhouse is fine. we just got, you know what I'm really mad about? And I'm really, really upset about this. I really am. How were they not in on Rafael Devers? How were they not in on him? And people can say all they want to say about him. But after that horrific first 2 weeks of the season, his numbers are incredible right now.
Yeah.
You could have played him at third base, which is where he loves to play, or second base if that's where he felt even more comfortable. And I didn't see that San Francisco gave up a ton. I know he's making a lot of money, but we've got the richest owner in baseball.
Yeah.
You sign him, you don't have to worry about Brett Beatty anymore. Your DH could have been Vientos and whoever. I don't. That the one thing about David Stearns, he refuses in most cases to give out long-term contracts. I think he might be. I think he might be okay with one or two on the team. Now, when it's come to pitching, he's been right. A lot of these guys that they said the Mets should have signed to long-term deals are all hurting right now. But a third baseman, come on, man.
You got to
Come on.
figure that conversation had to come up. Should we consider Devers?
You would
Right.
hope.
But I got to listen. I know Steve Cohen is the richest owner in sports, but it's still money. Like, it's still a lot of money and a long-term deal. I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Cohen's like, yeah, we just shelled out $760 million to a guy that we hope works out. We think he will, but we hope. Or are we going to do this again to a guy that I don't want to, body shame the guy, but he's a little chunky, a little
He's
overweight.
a little,
Oh, a little. But seriously, that means something, man. Like, that
Yeah,
matters.
no,
Like, what's
that's
his
true.
longevity? Right? I'm
Right.
not trying to say fat guy, but he's not fat, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not this guy that's going to I don't think he's going to last as long as his contract. So, look, I know Steve Cohen has a lot of money, but he's not reckless. You know what I mean? He's not going to be
don't
stupid.
Make
So
the Jason Bay mistake again,
yeah,
where
Yeah.
you're someone who is,
Yeah, that's true.
in that epicenter of that thing. Devers is a good player, but you see how it ended in Boston, and that gives me pause. Now, granted, he did start playing first base for the Giants,
Yeah.
but still, it's not like the Red Sox are a terrible organization that everybody hates. It's like this
Right.
is something that I would try to stay away from that if it's me, especially
yeah.
if you're going to put in for a
I don't think the
long-term deal.
Mets. I don't think they need him. I mean, it'd
Uh,
be cool. Like, you'd be happy, right? It's not our money, right? So we're
Right,
always
right.
pumped to get anybody.
Yeah.
But to be honest, look, I think the thing with the Mets, it's like the Yankees. You guys are fine. It's all good.
I
There's
think
no
so.
reason to make a crazy move or panic. I mean, I think what would have been nice for the Mets would have been to throw the knockout punch to the Braves last night, right? Because now, to me, they're not back in it. But this gave them a little bit of life. If they go on
Yep.
this massive run, maybe they sneak and start creeping up a little bit. But it's like, the Yankees and Red Sox too, right? Those losses bother you more than
10
anything,
times
even if they stink,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
But look, the Mets are fine. Soto's heating up. But just like the Yankees, man, we'll all take a deep breath and just let this ride. This is the June bug, I call it. The Mets have it
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Every
We do.
year.
Every
The
June.
Yankees,
June.
sometimes it mixes July, June, this happens. But the Mets, it's like, boom, right on cue, slump, everyone panics. 3 weeks later, maybe even longer, all of a sudden the Mets go on this massive run. So I think the Mets will be fine.
I got to tell you, you brought up how Soto's going to be fine, and I 100% agree with you. I think Soto's fine now. And you're in North Carolina, so you don't hear it as much as me and Mike hear it up here. I am sick and tired of every single Yankee fan sports guy on FAN or ESPN New York. Every single day they have a different Soto thing. So last night, Soto's trying to explain how he got doubled off. He couldn't see the call by the umpire, and he's kind of caught in between. So now Brandon Tierney is screaming that he's got to take ownership. Michael Kay, since he's broken off from the regular Michael Kay show and now it's just him, he's gone rogue.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's talking about the craziest crap. And well, what do you think I don't know? So, all of a sudden he's Mike Francesa for 2 hours in the afternoon, and it's get like last. Here's a perfect example, Jeff. You might have heard it today on the Tiki and Evan and Tiki show. Tommy Lugauer and Marash are in a text message chain with 8 other people. 7 of the 8 are Yankee fans. Lugau's the only Met fan. He said throughout the whole game last night, two texts about the Yankees. The rest of them were all ripping into things the Mets were doing.
Yeah.
Worry about your team.
Yeah.
Worry about your team. Leave us alone, please. And they look at Soto's numbers. He got off to such a crappy start. You can't make those numbers up in a month.
No.
Yeah. Listen,
But
I think
it's crazy.
a lot of this is self-defense, to be honest, Uncle Ted, because not you, but a lot of Met fans were throwing it right in our faces when you guys got Soto. So I think a lot of Yankee fans, and I'm not happy with it because I feel like, listen, if you're the big brother, then let them talk crap. I don't care.
You're not going to hear me say any of that stuff unless we're playing each other.
Right.
That's the only time you're going to hear it from me is when you take 2 out of 3 at Citi Field on July 4th weekend. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what it is. But with Soto, I did hear what Tierney said today. I don't agree with it, but I understand where he's coming from. And I also heard, I don't know if it was a caller or somebody on the show said it, you didn't sign Soto to be a leader. You signed him to be a hitter, right? I don't think Soto has leadership qualities. I really don't.
I agree.
He's not that guy.
I agree.
Right? But so I don't really, as long as he's not saying stupid things in the media, which he's done before, not on purpose, but just, maybe should have worded something differently, right?
I think the language barrier, even though he speaks very good English, sometimes it gets mixed up in your head.
It's not his primary language, so
I think that's fair. But as far as I heard the criticism today, again, I understand the point, but they seem to go a little over the top, like ripping the guy for being class. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They got nothing else
who
to
cares?
talk about.
That's what it is.
They have to figure out what they got to talk about today for 4.5 hours every single day. Sometimes I have a hard enough time doing 50 minutes on a podcast. I can't imagine doing 4.5 hours, 5 days a week, especially once all the Knicks are out of the playoffs and you're in the middle of a baseball season and NFL is months away and you still got to show up every day and bring it. So you got to come up with something to talk about. So Soto's going to be a great topic. Judge is going to be a topic. I saw people yelling at Garrett Cole for looking disinterested in the booth yesterday during the Yankee game. So it's just,
making stuff up.
It's the middle of the summer. We got to fill the time here. So.
Yeah, it's just it's like paralysis by analysis almost, right? We have, we're looking at everything, right? And I do the same thing. I'm looking at body language and, things that I know nothing about and have no degree in whatsoever. But I'm like, oh, look at the way he did this. Like,
right.
It's just, we start overreacting a lot. But again, just going back to the Mets and the Yankees collectively, I still think they're a top 5 team in baseball. And I think they're both going to win the division. This slump is not going to last. The team is too talented, right? If these teams stunk and they weren't good, you have a case to make like, oh man, maybe this is who they are. But I would say the Mets and the Yankees aren't as great as how they started, but they're certainly not as bad as the last 2 weeks. Right. I would say more towards great than the other side. But again, they're very good at least. I think they're both great, but they're very good at the very bare minimum. Again, like I said, they'll be fine, both of them.
Yeah. I want to go in and I want to talk to Mikey a little bit about some crazy picks that he's got. We're actually going to do a very quick bucket list show. I want to do that separately from this episode, so we'll bring them both up. But I want to. First of all, before I get to Mikey, I want to congratulate the Florida Panthers for winning the Stanley Cup championship last night. That's 2 years in a row. And I never thought I would say this, but I was happy to see the Panthers win. I was never a Panthers fan, but I got to tell you, if you're building a team, any kind of a team, that's the way you want to build it. They weren't afraid to add people they needed to add. They added Brad Marchand, who Mike, you saw him. He was amazing. He was
I hate
was
that guy so much.
absolutely.
I just can't stand him.
right.
But
He's a great player. He's such a clutch player. Such
Yep.
a clutch player.
the goalie showed up when he needed
Yeah.
him to, and
Yeah.
you saw how bad Edmonton's goaltending situation was at
Yeah.
the end. They just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And the Panthers still had more in the tank.
Yep.
And they've been there and they know what's going on, and it just was what it was. It's just so awesome just to see the trophy. They
Yeah.
do it so well. You talk about everyone's complaining about how the NBA finals have no buzz because there's no decals on the jerseys, and they don't do the opening starting lineups, and you can't even tell that it's a finals game. It just feels like a regular season game. There's like no halftime, there's no nothing. The NHL does it right. You have when they bring that trophy out and they got the guys with the white gloves and everybody gets to hold it up and they stay on it. They didn't go away.
Yeah.
They didn't go to commercial. They just did like 45 minutes of just every single guy holding up the cup. And it just makes you want your team to win it because it just is the best trophy and the best presentation in all of sports is the Stanley Cup.
I wish I had the Al Dukes sound clip. Nobody cares about hockey, Boomer. But I wish they did, because I got texts from so many people that watch hockey that I know that are like, listen, I know it's not the most popular sport when it should be, but you got to watch this game tonight. I didn't watch it. I watched the Yankees, but I know Florida is killing it, right? This is what, 2 years?
2 years in a row.
It's just, they appear to be the juggernauts now coming on, and it's
They
gonna
are.
keep going. So
They really are.
Yeah, good for them.
So, Mikey, you have a couple of picks for us.
Yep.
And tell us why you went this way.
Yeah. So first, I want to recap the picks from last week. So it was the UFL championship game. The Michigan Panthers got absolutely steamrolled.
Wah, wah.
But it was 58-34, so we were over before halftime, which is 1-1. And for me, you take the over when you can get it. So we were talking when we come to this week's pick. So we were talking last week, Jeff. You inspired me. You were talking about Mighty Ducks 2, and you were talking about us playing Iceland against the Ducks. So I wanted to go and shout out Iceland. So I went digging, and I found the Icelandish Premier League Soccer, and I have a 3-team parlay that will knock your socks off. So in the first game, we have FH Hafnarfjord -150 against IF Vestry. We have the UMF Starman, Mr. Starman. Yeah, exactly. That's why I picked them. +155 against the IA Akranes. And then we have the Reykjavik Vikings -118 against the KA Aki Yuri. 3 Icelandish soccer games. These games are on the 22nd, so that is Sunday?
Sunday is the 22nd. That is correct.
So there's a Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern and 3:15 Eastern. So if you've got nothing else to do on Sunday, check out some Icelandic soccer, and the $10 would give you 78 cheddar goldfish.
Ooh,
so
nice.
that is a nice one if
That
you
is
get
a
those
nice one.
3 together. So we'll see how it goes, and let's hit them straight tomorrow, Ted. Let's go out there. We're doing Modiford Stableford scoring.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we have a chance. We might have a shot against Jetman tomorrow, because he bombs the fairway.
Bombs it.
And straight as an arrow, bombs it down. His short game, just like everybody else's, needs a little bit of work, but he can bomb it down the fairway. So we are hitting 2 when he's hitting 1.
Yeah, we're going to get a stroke on every hole except for the 4 par 3s, and then the easiest par 4. So I think we're going to be good. And as Mike said, we're playing Stableford rules. counting in the handicap. Plus, we're going to throw a twist in, Mike. If you put it in the fairway, you get a point. And if you're on in green in regulation, you get an extra point.
Oh,
so we have shots at that.
I'm excited for tomorrow. I haven't picked up a club since last summer when we last played together. So we're gonna
see what happens.
See what happens. So
sometimes the first day out though is the best because you're not thinking.
Right. Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not thinking. Just keep the arms straight and just let it rip. That's what
I get worse. I get worse as the summer goes on because now, like, I'm back in the swing.
Right.
I start evaluating my grip and this and that. And I'm not having fun anymore. Now I want to shoot for score, and I get worse as the summer goes on because I'm overthinking.
Well, we're gonna have fun tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed this. What we will be back with another episode. We're gonna come back to back quickly with these episodes because we've got a fun one coming up for you. The next one is going to be our bucket list sporting events that we would like to attend that do not include the locals, not include our favorite teams. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And Mike, you're right. Let's hit them straight tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.